To you. Happy Tuesday. Happy day 19. Welcome back to our Conquering Overwhelm series. We are on day 19. Great work, team, of our 21-day resilience plan. Our path to resilience. I have a whole bunch of different titles that I've been calling this series, but albeit to say, I am thrilled to have you with me, whether you are catching this video and wondering where we've been and where we're going, or if you have been with me all along the way. Thank you for making this time for yourself to conquer overwhelm, to embrace a more empowered relationship with stress. We are all about breaking the cycle of chronic stress so that you have the opportunity to recover, the capacity to meet stress as it shows up in your daily life. All of this comes from developing these tools that we have been exploring to build your resilience. So thank you for making this time to join us. Thank you for making this time for you. If you are jumping in midstream, there's a link in the video description, whether you're on the 3X Less Stress YouTube channel or joining me on Facebook in the Live with Less Stress Facebook group. And you can get your free workbook, follow along with us, take it out of order if you choose your own adventure. And however you choose to show up in this series, I hope you take this inspiration along with this opportunity to change your relationship with stress. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'll pull up our workbook. We'll take a quick look and then I will let you be on with your day. So here we are in our Conquering Overwhelm workbook. We've been making great progress. Today in week three, we are continuing our look at these foundations of resilient health. 2 days ago, we took a look at nutrient dense, nourishing foods. Yesterday, we took a look at finding the type of activity that suits you best. So I hope you took a little inspiration. Typically in this online workbook, I have fillable forms. Unfortunately for this one, I didn't put fields on here, but I was able to, and perhaps you can if you play around with this a little bit, highlight within this PDF document and identify a couple of activities that you enjoy or that you are interested in trying out. Here on the scale that I've created of more or less physically demanding, more solo or individual activities or group activities. Some of these, as you see here, dance and yoga, which I enjoy, I tend to engage in individually. I find videos and do these at home because that is what is most convenient to me. But I encourage you to find what works for you, to move into it gently, to give yourself room to grow, to embrace new habits if this is a growing edge for you. So today we are up to day 19 and the third pillar of health, beyond nourishing food, beyond movement to restore your body, is healing sleep. This is so important. And in our Western lifestyle, we tend to undersell the value of rest. So I hope that you will take all of this information that I'm about to share with you as inspiration, as permission to put more priority on your healing sleep. And this is something that many, many people struggle with. And so if this is you, understand you have my empathy, my support. If this is something you would like to work on, as with all of these areas that we've been looking with, as a stress transformation coach, this is something I love to dig into with my clients and explore how we can get to the root of what is causing your issues here, what point at which you're struggling. Sometimes having a busy mind is what is keeping us from sleep. Sometimes our daily habits just don't set the deck so that our bodies are primed for its most healing sleep. And it might surprise you to know that setting yourself up for successful sleep starts with the things you do first in the morning when you awake. And that's a lot of planning to put into your day, isn't it? You can't be thinking about sleep as soon as you're dragging yourself out of bed, but you'll see that this all fits together. And so stick with me through today's conversation. And this week, although for the food portion, we had a little bit more homework, perhaps you're still tracking your food choices and looking for patterns there. Yesterday, I didn't really leave you with a lot of homework. Today, it's optional homework. So you have a little bit more space to explore, to think about this, and to see what works for you. So, first of all, just to briefly touch on the powerful benefits of sleep, in case you need some inspiration to make this more of a priority for yourself. Not only does quality sleep help to boost your immunity, and in the Northern Hemisphere, we are moving into the winter months when we are more prone to airborne viruses and those kinds of diseases because we're spending more time cooped up indoors with coworkers, with colleagues, with students in classes. And so boosting your immunity right now is very important. Sleep is healing. Sleep is also detoxifying for your brain. So there is a glymph system like your lymphatic system, which starts with an L, but your glymph system, which starts with a G, helps to cleanse and restore the cells of your brain. The glymphatic fluid is most active at night when you are at rest. And so when you are getting this restful sleep, that is when your brain has the opportunity to help to clear toxins, oxidants from your brain, to nourish it with this fluid and to restore it so that it is ready for all of the processes that it engages in the next day. Your brain is a hungry, hungry animal. It takes a lot of fuel. And with all of our cellular processes, with any actions in the cell, there's going to be these free radicals, these oxidants that become available and then start to wreak havoc. And so that's why nourishing foods, phytonutrients, antioxidants are so important. They help to collect these radicals from your cells, and the glymph system helps to cleanse your brain so that it isn't sluggish and working through all of these toxins and waste products, right? Very simplified version, but that's it in a nutshell. Also, mentally, sleep is when your brain files and sorts all of the activities, memories that you have experienced the prior day. So, with better sleep, you are enhancing your long-term memory because that's when your brain is able to make sense of everything it has experienced. There's a little less input coming in, so it can organize those files. So when you're not getting quality sleep, your brain is not having that opportunity to make sense, to restore order to everything that it has mentally experienced through the prior day. So let these be some inspiration to you to put a priority on your sleep. Apologies for you if you're catching this on the day when I'm going live on Tuesday. We've got a couple more days to the weekend. However, I hope that you look to the weekends as an opportunity to get in touch with your sleep schedule, to maybe give yourself a chance to check in and see how much sleep you naturally want to get. Now, if you are depriving yourself of sleep during the week, then of course on the weekends you're not going to get the most accurate view, but it's also not true that you can make up for missed sleep by sleeping in on the weekends. So what I encourage you to do, and next week is a holiday, so perhaps this will give you an opportunity, is to look for those times when you can start your day without an alarm clock. Try to be consistent with your sleep time when you're going to bed and see how much time you actually need to rest. We tend to get stuck with this standard issue, 8 hours target of sleep. Some people need more than that. Some people need 9 hours. Some people thrive on 7 hours. Some people thrive on less. And throughout our lives, as we age, we tend to need less sleep. Younger children need more sleep, as you can imagine. They're learning. There's so many mental processes. It makes sense that they need more rest in order for greater integration. So as we age, it is common for us to need less sleep. And the only way you're going to find that out is by performing some experiments, by getting curious to see what works best for you. So you will find on the page following this one, on page 33, I have a little notes from my sleep study where you can start to take some notes if you choose to get curious and to see what you notice about your sleep. If you choose to employ some of these practices that I'm going to share with you today, or just to get a baseline. So just to briefly run through these, of course, you can read through this at your leisure. But as I was saying, a regular routine of bedtime and waking is important. It helps to regulate our circadian rhythms. And as I said earlier, the thing you do first thing in the morning has a lot to do with how easily you're able to fall asleep at night. And this is your exposure to natural light. A little bit more difficult the further north you are in the northern hemisphere at this time of year when the days are shorter, but you can supplement this with light as you need to, with full spectrum light, or even with, gasp, the dreaded blue light, because the spectrum of light from our sun is in that white to blue area of the light spectrum. The light spectrum moves from white to blue, slowly warming into the red tones. And if you think about the end of the day, which our bodies naturally evolved to be very in tune with, as the sun sets, the lighting naturally changes to more orange and red tones. So, in order to start your day, to begin the countdown timer that helps you to gauge how sleepy you are, to increase that feeling of being tired at the end of the day so that at bedtime you're tired enough to drift off to sleep, it starts with exposure to natural light first thing in the morning. Um, Having regular rituals throughout the day, the way you start the day, the way you end your day, helps your body know what to expect. So a nighttime ritual like Epsom salt baths, like using magnesium cream if you don't have time for Epsom salt baths, is very calming and helps your body to just understand this is our wind down time. Um, Unplugging from media, getting away from those digital screens at the end of the day is very important because, as we've already referenced, we know that blue light tends to stimulate the brain. The suprachiasmatic nucleus is the area in the brain that reads blue light as time to be alert. It's very deep in the brain. And when we are looking at digital screens, we're getting that blue light. So yellow glasses or just simply turning off devices a couple of hours before bedtime so that you are reducing that stimulation and giving your brain time to wind down and become more restful so it's easier to fall asleep. It can be very helpful. Another thing, many of us might be more sensitive to electromagnetic fields than we realize, especially if you have recovered from an illness, people who have experienced accidents or that sort of thing. When their immune system, when their recovery system in the body has been working hard, we can be more sensitive than even usual to electromagnetic fields. And this is because we are electronic beings, right? If we go way back to science class, the space in the molecules is primarily space. And the electrons circulating around the nucleus of these molecules, there's actually a lot of space there. And so we are electronic beings. We put out an electronic field. And when we engage with electronic devices throughout the day and we have our phone plugged in next to the bed at night, I have a uncorded lamp next to my bed. So I'm aware of where these influences might be coming from. If having quality sleep is something that you struggle with, then do consider unplugging your bedroom as well as just kind of detaching from devices later in the day so that you are free of some of these fields that wireless devices are putting out there. Give it a try. You might be surprised at the impact of that after a couple of nights, after a week of having a more electronic-free zone that you create in your bedroom. And finally, if you are one who gets the busy mind at the end of the day, like I do, this can be one of the reasons that I struggle to fall asleep is my brain suddenly picks up that to-do list. As soon as I lay down and try to close my eyes, my brain seems to kick into overdrive. One way to naturally overcome that is just to have a piece of paper or a journal near the pen so you can write things down. You can relieve your brain of that task, lighten the load, and let your brain feel like it doesn't have to be on duty anymore. So, those are some of my go-to tips to help you create a more successful sleep schedule, to help you get to the root of some of the issues that might be interrupting your sleep. I encourage you to approach it with some creativity. Let me know what works for you. Also, if you have a busy mental mind at the end of the day, another one of my go-tos is using Bach flower essences. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a big fan of the Bach flower remedies. They're natural, they're safe for anyone at any age. And they're powerful at helping to balance our emotions. White chestnut, for example, is a beautiful flower essence for helping to quiet the mind, to quiet the chatter of mental thoughts. So there are some other ones. If you're curious about working with Bach flowers, again, please do reach out to me. I love that conversation. And I have shared some episodes over on Happified, my podcast, where you can learn more about the Bach flowers as well. Tomorrow for day 20, can you believe we're up to day 20 already? You've done such good work. I want to celebrate your progress and your commitment to taking care of yourself. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking a look at some of the signs, some of the red flags of burnout. Since this series is looking at how we can conquer overwhelm, it's important to get an idea of the scale, right? And burnout is something that even the World Health Organization is recognizing as a big problem that we need to dig into. We need to course correct. We can't just be plunging through and ignoring stress until it's physically impossible anymore. We need to recognize what it is we could be heading to, what we could be setting the tables for. Recognize who is more likely to struggle with burnout. Here's a secret: people who put extra pride in their work, people who really want to take care of other people. Maybe it's not such a surprise that some of these folks are the ones who might be more likely to struggle with burnout. So, we're going to look at the warning signs, ways that you can support yourself, course correct, prevent that issue from coming up for you. That'll be tomorrow's topic. So I look forward to seeing you with me tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much for joining me in this series. Thanks for all that you do. And until I see you online again tomorrow, take good care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.